legends. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday to everybody. Let's analyze the situation all together here for the price of Bitcoin. We've got Ethereum as well. We'll be taking a look at some interesting data in today's live stream, guys. So if you do enjoy the content, make sure to destroy that like button, guys, okay? Let's go right away through the comment section, say hello to the beautiful community, and we'll be diving in straight away through the price of Bitcoin mainly. We did have some news today, okay? We did have PCE, price index, coming out as expected. Slightly lower personal income and personal spending a little bit higher than expected, so that's kind of good. And we are not seeing that much volatility. A little bit of pumpy action here throughout this news coming out on personal spending being a little bit higher than expected, okay? Having a little bit of pumpy action, right? I think Bitcoin's also getting a bit of a pump. Not much, you know, it is Friday, guys. We are getting a little bit of a bounce here based on that news coming out now in the last few minutes. We almost tapped on a few exchanges. We tapped the low here. We're going to talk about different scenarios that could happen with Bitcoin. We're going to get some scenarios ready. We talked about a possible bouncing level yesterday, guys, which we did not get the bounce. And I did let the Legends Pro, I'm not long in here, as we did lose a daily level, okay? This is an old daily level, was my only level of interest. No reaction whatsoever. Still believing, of course, with the analysis, that a successful breakdown from here to nuke down below 107K has the lowest probability, and we are likely going to find a range, okay? Get a little bit of a relief rally, get a bit of a bounce, and form a little bit of a range before potentially continuing to the downside, unless the pump is going to be very explosive, which is some scenarios that I want to explain in this live stream, okay? Overall, still in that belief, okay, based on the analysis, that any movement down here eventually, you know, unlikely to nuke down, and that has to do with this price action that will be explained in this live stream, the levels that we need to consider as resistance and support, where some possible trading opportunities could lie, guys. And yeah, the long setup here was not triggered by myself, purely based because it crossed straight through. There was a little naked point of control as well at that zone where we have that daily. Old daily level right now, of course, we need to let that clear here. Okay, this was the old daily level of yesterday that absolutely nuked down, okay? Let me know if you can see me, if you can hear me. We are going to be going through the comment section to say hello to the beautiful community. And we'll be diving in through the technical analysis. What projections do we have for Bitcoin, guys? We are still bullish on the higher time frame, okay? We are still bullish on the higher time frame. Nothing has changed. This corrective move and even going to lower prices in the next couple of weeks is expected for the moment. It is still expected that we do actually go lower. It has the highest probability till proven otherwise, till we see a sign of strength on the price action, a change of local trend, which we've had throughout the last week. Then we can start believing that, you know, a new uptrend is going to happen. But this movement to the downside that we've had in the last week was very much anticipated and talked about even before getting to the $116,000, $118,000 back at the beginning of September. Very much anticipated possibility. One of the projections that we had on the higher time frame based on Elliot Wave theory, of course, which is, you know, Elliot Wave theory is the best tool that, you know, that you could use, the best knowledge. It's not a tool really. It's the best knowledge that you can have to overall have the different projections on how the price could develop throughout the next coming weeks. And as you can see, we were trading at $110,000 just at the beginning of September, right? When this was posted, yeah, 4th of September. We've been talking about this for a long time right now, right? Giving the different projections of, you know, coming all the way up here to 116, 118K zone is where we could reject based on the point of control of this range, based on the double zigzag scenario and move down in a strong impulse. It seems like we are, in this phase right now. Of course, coming down here almost to the lows of 107K. And, we want to see some kind of a bounce, some kind of a reaction. So let me know in the comment section, bear market, what do you think, guys? Because it's absolutely natural. This correction from all-time high compared to the absolute explosive move that we've had since April is completely natural, guys. It would be natural even coming down below $100,000. It would be just a nice projection corrective structure. I'm not sure if we are going to come that low, guys. That's, that's something. But overall, claiming 107K, breaking down 107K is very much a high probability expectation that we do have for the moment for the price of Bitcoin. And this was explained, throughout many weeks, guys, where we had a 5-wave contracting diagonal. For this to form a V-shaped recovery to hit all-time high, yeah, it's an unlikely scenario. And one of the scenarios, of course, the most bearish one, is to actually get that, 3-wave aggressive structure to the downside that was mentioned, even before we formed this uptrend rally to, the 118K zone where we peaked out to then get the rollover back down. So the expectation for this movement, right, coming into, end of September, it's very much expected, right? So nothing surprised. Ethereum finally getting below $4,000, which was also a projection that we had for many weeks. I have closed most of my Ethereum short position that was held from the rejection of all-time high. Okay, just want to be completely transparent on the scenario here about Ethereum. I did add a little bit to the position, closed most of the short, and very interested in longs, very interested in swing long positions here on Ethereum, which eventually, also short in an ICP swing long trade. Okay, that's for the long term. It might take months and it might even go to stop loss. But overall, altcoins are not looking that great. Very successful long trade setup that was given inside of the Legends Pro community as well just a few days ago, okay, which was that nice bounce, okay, from this SFP. We had a range point of control also here, and we were looking to tackle the highs here. I did not get into the short, even though, it was a kind of an acceptable short position at this zone. I'm still projecting a possible 4th wave here, based on, WXY or a flat here also can be counted. This would have been a good, interesting short. This was late night for me and, just didn't have a short trade open. And of course, the long trade was almost fully closed here. Took most of the profits on that long position that was provided in the Legends Pro community and also in the VIP just a few days ago. Of course, we did talk about in the VIP about the possible bounce that we could have had at the daily, but we needed acceptance above that daily level, which was here at 110.1, but the price absolutely nuked down. Okay, the price nuked down. This was the projection from the long trade setup that was given in the pro community. Okay, let's go right away through the different scenarios that could happen for Bitcoin. Let's go through the comment section, say hello to the beautiful community. First of all, it is Friday, guys. Smash up the like button. If we do get to 500 likes, we're going to do a $500 giveaway. It's not that hard to get to 500 likes. We do get to 500 views, sometimes 600, 400 people come in and out. If you get that like button smashed and we get to 500, we'll do a live giveaway of $500 to a lucky winner. You just need to post your wallets later on eventually. USDT, ERC, 20 wallet, and we'll do a giveaway if we get to 500 likes eventually. So let's go through comment section and we'll talk about the different projections that we do have here for Bitcoin. Interesting. Muy interesante where we are at the moment. I am expecting some kind of a relief rally before we actually break down 107K. So yeah, we'll be talking about that now in the next coming minutes, guys. Let's say hello to the beautiful community. Hopefully some people did manage to get into some pretty nice short positions in the last couple of weeks, even not only in the last week, even in the last couple of weeks on Bitcoin, because it was without a doubt a good projection that we were, anticipating that it was very, very possible. Okay. I didn't make the most amount of gains on the short, I have to say. I had a very poor entry on Bitcoin. Ethereum is the one that paid off throughout September, which was my main big position, which the projection was looking for an ABC movement to the downside to at least get below $4,000. And we are still busy with that projection to the downside. Okay. So overall, whoever shorted Ethereum, Bitcoin, right? Any of the other different cryptos as well. I think, most of them have been getting this pretty steep correction. I mainly focus on Bitcoin and Ethereum eventually, as you know, for my trades. And very interested in a swing long, guys. Very, very interested. Extremely interested. But I kind of need to see a sign of strength, or at least get below 107K, right? Once we get down there, this is the moment to start, regardless if it's later on, if we do get an epic bounce and it's very corrective and then we nuke down. Patience, guys. It's going to be a moment of relax, stay calm. If we move impulsively from here, then we're going to have to jump in later on the long instead of catching the lows here for the swing trade idea. Okay, so I'm going to explain a few plans. Of course, what we talk about mainly on the channel is higher time frame projections, guys. If you want to do scalping, looking at the VWAP and, golden pocket of mini ranges, there are some channels that do that. We talk about bigger projections. I make most of my money here throughout the last few months on bigger projected moves, as you do know. Of course, if I do see a clear day trade setup, I will talk about it in the VIP, just like this one right over here, the bounce that we got from here all the way up to here. It's a day trade. It's a projected move of $2,000, maybe $3,000. If I do see these clear setups, I will talk about them, of course, in the pro community or in the VIP if I am, interested in taking that day trade. Now, thanks to this long day trade, it's actually made my last few weeks. Okay, it's made the gains for me mainly. The pump that we had here was my main trade. I didn't short this, guys. I did not short this movement to the downside, even though it was acceptable to believe that your wave 5 is still not in this zone, that this could still be part of your fourth wave. We actually talked about this on the channel, that your invalidation for this is the golden pocket from this pivot high to the pivot low. We're just still at 50%, or even, if you get this low or this low, it doesn't really matter. Your golden pocket at 114.4K zone is your invalidation for a wave 4. So 382, 50% needs to get that rejection if you still believe that we're going to get one more push, right? If you want to put your stop loss there, then and tackle the lows, that is really the projection that we have here. I didn't get into this short, guys. I mainly got into this long. Did not long yesterday because we just nuked. I just don't want to long if we are nuking. I try and stay away of these big volatile moves. If we do not get a reaction at a low, I will not enter the long position. I will just let the price go wherever it needs to go, because a lot of people will just long limit levels, and now you would be underwater or expecting a move up. There is a very bad bearish case scenario that I have to talk about eventually when you are a downtrending. The trend is your friend, and we are downtrending, guys. We are looking for a reversal here. However, there is a bearish case scenario that has low probability, but it's still there, right? It's even though probabilities are low, it can still go to the downside, right? So let's go through comment section. We'll be discussing the different scenarios right away after saying hello to the beautiful community, I need to show some respect here to the people that have joined, okay, and that are smashing up the like button. Say hello to the beautiful community. I hope you're doing well, you're healthy, you are maintaining good risk management, guys. Remember, this is a marathon, this is a long-term game. The idea here is to make profits long-term consistently. I'm just sharing some ideas. I want to share education. Good risk management is the key to successful trading, okay? And I'm here to share my journey eventually, right? Which is, showing you that exponential profits throughout the coming months and coming years is very much a possibility in trading. You just need to remain patient and get in on the highest probability setups with maintaining good risk management, okay? And I have to say, where I made most of my gains in the last 2-3 days, basically this week, has been a pump here on the price of Bitcoin that was shared in the VIP, and also the extra profits from the drop that I had on Ethereum in the last 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours, right? This extra drop, I was still maintaining 15% of that trade open based on adding to the position just to tackle the lows here. And just yesterday, guys, and this is the beauty of, some altcoins, the percentage movements are going to be much greater than Bitcoin. This almost moved 10% in the last 24 hours, right? 24, 48, right, from this range. And that gave me some pretty good extra profits on the short position that I've been holding for, 4 weeks right now on Ethereum, which, was definitely worth it based on the projection. So where I made most of my gains is from a swing trade short of Ethereum in the last, this week, which is this movement down, and the pump that we had on Bitcoin a few days ago from 111K to 114K, almost scratching it, just getting above the highs. That's where, those are my two main trades where I've, made some gains. Obviously the drop of Ethereum short from 4 weeks ago is where I made, an extra good amount of cash, of course, based on the drop that we've had on Ethereum, right, of 8-9%. So this is how, this is mainly, it's easier to be a successful trader with these chilled, positions and, long-term swing trades. Anyway, we're not going to go through that. That's a bunch of nonsense. Nobody wants to hear that. Let's go through the comment section, say hello to the beautiful community, and we'll dive in straight away what we can see on Bitcoin, guys, okay? What are the different projections and levels that we need to consider to basically get into a trading opportunity? So let's go right away. Staff 1, El Professor, Andy, hope you are doing amazing. I hope you're doing well. Also, my man, much love to you. Andy, please check the accumulation of Litecoin LTC in the weekly. Okay, we can take a look at Litecoin maybe later on. Guys, people are here mainly for Bitcoin. What is the king doing? Because if the king fails, then the entire society, right, of crypto, except for a few of them that might have their own life, will fail also, right? The king is what is maintaining everything, everything okay, everything stable. If the king fails, Bitcoin fails, and we do get an extra drop of a few $1,000s, give or take, dropping below 107K very aggressively in the next coming days or even couple of weeks, altcoins will take the movement down also, okay? Bitcoin is the leader, especially if you're getting the Bitcoin dominance, getting that bounce, which it is. Bitcoin dominance, getting that relief rally. It does look like we do have a little bit of a 5-wavy move here to the upside. So we could get a little cool off on the Bitcoin dominance. One more rally potentially throughout the next 1 to 2 weeks. I do think that we can get above 60% on the dominance. But overall, I am expecting the dominance to roll over later on, entering into November, December, guys. And we could be seeing those last 2 months of Q4 being the big one, right? I think, a lot of people are anticipating October, right? October is green, guys. October is October, right? Moonvember and Pumpsember, right? We're just going to have to go with the movements, right? The projections. October can start off very red, guys. It can start off red. September is very possibly going to close in the red. We still got a few days to close September, but we'll just go with the flow, right? This doesn't mean anything for me, but it does in the short term, but it does mean, okay, usually October has been one of the best performing months. Something to take into consideration. Can be a bit shaky at the beginning. And Q4 of the 4-year cycle theory eventually is the one that needs to get the big projection, right, to the upside. So let's see. A lot of people are going to be saying bull market is over, right? Bear market now, which is something that we anticipated, right? You're going to see a lot of people, once this rally is finished in September, potentially peaking out, you know, $116,000, $118,000. This is still bullish, guys. You know, we are here, literally. We are in this zone right there where we just dropped below 110K, right? We are in this zone and it's still bullish. The macro structure is still bullish. The movement down is still highly likely a corrective structure. However, it's timing, guys, right? It's the timing that we've been screaming about for many weeks right now, that I don't think we're going to go up from here, guys, to all-time high. I very much believe that something like this makes more sense. So, yeah, that's currently where we are at the moment with this scenario. So anyway, let's continue through comment section, and then we'll go through the analysis on Bitcoin, okay, and what I'm seeing. Like button tapped and ready to rumble, says Mike. Much love to you. Sin Games, Daniel Singleton, got the moderators here giving love and power. Staffer One, how are you doing, brother? Sin Games, much love to you. We also got Daniel Singleton here. All good, my man. Much love. Pump Day, says Cool Hank Luke. Maybe. Techno Feet, we need to go more deeper. I don't see any upside movement from here. Yeah. We'll talk about the probabilities more locally on this drop, okay? We'll talk about, 1 hourly, 15-minute time frame and study, right, based on data of the past. What does usually happen when you get this kind of move? Do you continue down? How many lows can we create? What support do we have? What kind of bounce could we create if we do go to lower levels? And what we need to anticipate that could happen, right? I do not know what's going to happen, guys. We could nuke down in the next coming hours and get to 105K. We are heavily downtrending. That is for sure. It is dangerous to long here, okay? I have to say it is dangerous to long, expecting a reversal. Even that I expect a reversal, I'm in no long position here on Bitcoin. I'd rather miss the trade, right? I'd rather miss the trade instead of being underwater and having this irresponsible way of trading that most of the people do have. But what can I say? We'll be talking about the different scenarios that I'm looking at here, and also purely based on probabilities, okay? Let's go, Rag Capital. Much love, my man. Muy interesante, tío. Thank you, my man. Much love. All in, baby, says Cool Handle. Look, all in on a short or on a long. Jackie Wood, I got my mother here. Suzanne, much love to you. Thanks for joining. Hamza, Andy, you're not posting these entries clear in the pro community. Look, this, let us know when to pull the trigger. The triggers are very much clear, okay? I cannot trade for you guys, right? I cannot trade for the people that join the pro community. For sure, I do explain in text. I do explain, the different levels where we need the reaction and the projections. Sometimes, this is analysis that needs to point out for you, right? Does it make sense? Doesn't it make sense? I'm sharing the levels where I'm, looking for an entry point based on the reaction, okay? So I cannot trade for you guys, and then most importantly, if you are depending on signals channel, it's going to be very, very hard. It's going to be very, very hard. Every person, you can get into the same trade setup. And this is a very, very interesting story because I did some analytics a few years ago on posting some trading setups and asking the community who entered where did you exit? How much did you exit? How much did you take profit? And the P&Ls were completely different. Even some people not taking profit and hitting and getting stopped out. So it's like, wow, every mind and every person is completely different. Unless you're scalping, we're getting in and we're getting out after a little bounce of a few $100s altogether right now. You know, then obviously yes, but every mind, every person is different. And even posting signals, which I'm not in favor about, you know, you need to manage your own risk, your own decisions, okay, by taking these setups. And it's pretty curious. Every person has, even though you provide a signal, everybody's, you know, some people will not take it. Some people will enter late. Some people will not take profit. And some people will actually get stopped out, even though they've had a 3-4 to 1 risk reward. So yeah, it's, you know, I cannot trade for you guys. You need to educate. You need to be, you know, it's you that needs to take the action eventually, right, on the setups. Okay, Andy, please update on Asta. We'll take a look at Asta later on. Asta is, yeah, we'll take a look at Asta later on. Okay, but we need to focus. Yes, Andy, the legend is live. Devil, much love to you, brother. View on Ethereum. We'll take a look at Ethereum. Even liquidated, says Devil. Very true. It is actually true. So signals is never going to work for the long term for somebody, guys. I am, you know, me and Devil also, we are very much in favor of educating people and to, you know, take handle of their own decisions, risk management, right, technical analysis, and you will learn from your mistakes. You will know when to execute those trades. You will know when to put stop loss, when not to, you know, enter, right? And yeah, basically it's super important, guys. Even liquidated, which is very true, right? So anyway, all legends, let's go. Let's run this up. Okay, let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin. Let's go right away with the TA legends. Okay, so higher time frame, just a quick heads up here for the people that are, you know, absolutely, you know, panicking at the moment with this drop. Bear market over, you know, bull market over. Is there a bear market coming in right now for the next, you know, year? That's it, guys. For the moment, no. For the moment, no. Okay, you're actually getting some DMs saying, do you think this is over, right? You know, on altcoins is another story. Most of my capital is in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is the one that I'm worried about. Altcoins, I got 20% in my portfolio. They can go to 0. Okay, it doesn't matter. Obviously, I would like to see a 5-10x on some of them. But Bitcoin is the main one, right? And for the moment, Bitcoin has high probability in hitting all-time high, even if it goes down to 96. Even if it goes to $96,000, which I would not expect it to go that low. But, you know, we can expect the unexpected. Because of this movement down, there is no solid way to look at this as a strong impulsive move with volume. There's no major selling pressure here. The whales are not selling here, right? Or anybody can speculate on this. And it's still a corrective structure, which gives us several options, of course. So high probability still on the higher time frame that we do take our all-time high, despite losing 107K. This was a very much anticipated scenario. One of the scenarios, there's many, that could have happened right at the beginning of September. We were already, you know, projecting this scenario that is currently happening. So nothing new here, right? Let's say nothing new. What is more interesting is the 1 hourly and 15-minute time frame. That's what's more interesting. To say, you know, does it make sense that the price nukes down from here? No, it does not. It does not, you know. Overall, creating one more low yesterday was what I was talking about. You know, we are looking for some kind of a bounce in this region with higher probability, just because a multiple 1-2 here has lower probability because of the next waves being so impulsive with high volume. And as you can see here, having low probability doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but it's just helping you just to realize that it would be a low probability scenario. Taking out the low here has high probability locally, just because of the range that we are forming. This range is not bullish. So despite locally taking out the highs or not, there is high probability that we're going to take out the lows here at 108.6, because there's nothing bullish about this movement and that we've had in the last few hours, between in the last, give or take, 24 hours. There's nothing bullish about this. It's a bear flag if you wish, or it's a you maybe sweep up the highs, get a little bit more of a bounce here. But on some exchanges we did take out the low. We did take out the low on some exchanges here. This is what really pisses me off. Yeah, on Bybit we did take out the low, especially on perpetual, but on spot I think we did not take out the low. We want to take out a low or a high on most of the exchanges, not only on a few. So a high chance that we do take out the low here, just because there's nothing bullish about this bounce. There is nothing bullish. Extreme overlappy structure. This is a complex correction that could even sweep up the highs. Okay, I would accept that scenario, and then come down later or come down from here. So overall, high probabilities that we do take out the lows here at a later stage. Even though, when you do take a look at the futures exchanges, some of the exchanges have taken out this low, right, with this recent move down. It's a little bit of a hard one, right? It's a little bit of a hard one when we do consider, Coinbase didn't take out the low, Bybit did, Binance did, KuCoin didn't. You prefer take it out on most of them, just because it is very important when we do the analysis that we actually take a low or we do not take it, to then realize the different projections that we do have. But anyway, diving in through here, low probability in nuking down from this range. Getting an instant nuke down here has lower probability, purely based on multiple 1, 2 here would be low probability, because your second 1 and 2 is much larger than your first 1 and 2. That is uncommon. The highest amount of volume is inside of your second 1 and 2. If that were to be the case, I like to map this situation that this is your wave 3, just because it has the highest amount of volume, and then this latest move down in the last 24 hours has even less volume, which is the most common thing of an impulse or to the upside or to the downside. You got your volume moving up. On the third wave, higher volume, and on the fifth wave, lower volume, right? The volume does like this, right? It's a divergence of volume, basically, right? So that, signals that the price could be very soon, right, locally bottoming out at some stage, regardless if you dump another $1,000 or not. That's what there is, that's the highest probability based on understanding this movement down, right? Which is what we try and detect here. Do we all go long all together? Well, on the lower time frame, there is actually high probability in taking out the low based on the bounce. So it wouldn't make too much sense. You are saying that there's a high chance that we do get the reversal, and this is where the experience, right, really masters your trading. However, on the lower time frames, it's likely that we do take out the low. So it would be pretty bold, right, to get into a long. But you said that we're going to get, that there's higher chance in getting a reversal. Yeah, but locally we can take out the low, and taking out this low is the moment that you need to be focused on how we react at certain levels, right? So the most important level, I think what we have here, based on the highest probability, there is a daily level in this zone. Let's pull it out here on the chart. We also have a naked point of control also in this area, which is at 108.4, 108.3, depending on what exchange. It is just above the daily level. And when we do take a look at this daily level, can be off the chart. It's old daily level, did not get any reaction. We're going to leave it I did point out that it's an daily old level. Daily levels or naked pointer controls that have been touched out of the chart, right? We don't need them anymore. They've been broken. So when we do take a look at this movement down, in my personal opinion, multiple 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and another 1-2, and then nuke, low probability. Second and third 1-2s are very long compared to your first one. That is uncommon. And of course, if something is uncommon, we get it off the chart. Okay, we get it out on what you need to take it into consideration, but you just don't give it the highest probability. Could we label this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? Because, you know, even this 4 and 5 right there, I mean, that you could technically fit in a 5-wave structure, and this a wave 2. Somebody pointed out this in the pro community, and then here we have a 1 and a 2, right? You're finishing your 1 wave here, you get the bounce, and then we, you know, nuke down in a 3rd wave. Same low, probabilities are lower because your wave 2 is extremely fast. You know, in time, it's very shallow. Okay. When you take a look at the timing, considering either this the low or this the low, this happened very, very quick compared to the movement down, which is, you know, rare to see. You at least cross the 382 Fibonacci time, you know, considering either this the low or this other one the low. So you can see here how, you know, it's not even, you know, a 10-20% of time from the movement down. So considering this a wave 1 and this a wave 2 and this is another wave 1, you're going to get a bounce, and then this, you know, 1 and 2 to then nuke. It's not the highest probability. Okay, the price is downtrending, and yeah, you know, trying to catch a reversal unless it's at these major levels of support, I am not interested. This is dangerous to long when we're heavily downtrending and we're just testing the lows, breaking the lows and testing the lows. Anybody that is building up here a long position can definitely get hurt very, 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 very strongly. Okay, if this ends up being a build up of multiple 1-2s, then the nuke down is going to be horrendous, guys. It's going to be horrendous. Even though it has low probability, I'm longing where I need to long. You know, I'm not in a long position at the moment. I'm interested in longs, and I'm interested in longs at certain levels. Yesterday, I was interested in the long on the reaction of the daily. I got the alert, and as soon as I checked after the alert, the price was trading beneath the level. And I said to the pro community, guys, I'm just not entering the long here. You know, we are falling down aggressively with high volume. It was a level of interest to speculate on the 5th wave, but it's my level, right? It's my guidance to take the decision if we trade back above, if I'm entering the long or not. And if it gets a fake out to the upside and it goes down, you just get stopped out, right? So my next, what I would be highly speculating on here that has the highest probability, and I'm just going to share this with you guys, is that we have formed a movement to the downside in an impulse, which your 5th wave is still developing. You're still developing your 5th wave here. Okay. This has the highest probability for the moment because the price is actually moving as it has to move in an impulse, where you have your wave 1 to the downside with your corrective move, your next aggressive move with the highest amount of volume, which would have, the one that has the highest amount of volume, you need to label it first of all, if you can, as your wave 3. And then your wave 4, you could have a flat here, or your wave 3 could be here, and this your 4. It doesn't really matter. This is your next leg down, and this next leg to the downside. Well, you have the movement down, a little stop here, the next movement down with the highest amount of volume, and now this consolidation, which is large, very choppy, which you would label as your wave 4. And this is why there is still a good chance that we break down the lows of this range. Okay, this is not an area to believe that we are bottoming out here and expect a reversal where the current price is. You would expect an attempt of breaking down here to finish that wave 5. Now the overall question is, can we bounce at our only last levels of support before taking out the low here? Because taking out the low at 107k would still be possible and then you get a bounce, you form like a double bottom here. This is very much acceptable. I mean, maybe this wave 5 from your wave 5 is going to extend, okay, down to the lows. So there's a few options here. There's a few options considering how can we trade this. And for me, you know, it's simple. This is a wall. You can attempt to pierce the wall, 108.3.4 if you wish, 108.2, and eventually the lows, right? I mean, we have to consider the swing failure pattern of the lows, because it might just be a liquidity grab and then we get the bounce. This actually becomes an interesting swing failure pattern purely based at what stage we are in right now of this downtrend. Okay, because if we have a low right over here, right, and say that this rejection happened like this, really aggressive, and we get a correction like this, and then the price starts moving down. If the price is moving down from this stage and we form this kind of price action, I would not be interested in this swing failure pattern if we would have moved like this. Absolutely not. Because this could be your wave 1, your wave 2, and you're just building up 1, 2, 3. You're building your third wave down. I mean, if it does SFP and you manage risk, you can get in and just get out if you lose it, right? You don't want to hold any position. But this is why it's crucial to understand at what stage you are, right, in a trending move, right? We've got a new trend to the downside. You know, we were speculating the other day, like a couple of weeks ago, right? What stage can we be in here? Oof, we can be in the 5th wave. We can be in the WXYXZ wave, right? We can be in the Z wave. We can be in the 5th wave. Breaking out from here is unlikely, right? You realize, based on the stage that you are in, that you have low probability in really breaking out from here successfully, and that a reversal is very much likely, right? It's the highest probability scenario. So talking about where we currently at on this movement down, same scenario that it's literally something very similar from this price action. Who remembers here that we talked about 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, massive break in a third wave has low probability, right? We are not expecting this. We are not expecting a multiple 1, 2 here and smash throughout here with the third wave. Why? Your wave 3, much larger. Well, I mean, your second wave 1 and 2 with that speculation of multiple 1, 2s, much larger than your first 1, 2. That is rare. We're not overlapping from your wave 1s and second 2s, which is most common in a multiple 1, 2. So with that same theory of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the largest move is in the middle with the highest amount of volume as well, somewhere in this period right over here. The same applies to this movement down, right? Where you have 1, 2, 3, largest move down, wave 4, wave 5, which is pretty aggressive, is actually been an extension 5th wave, almost. I think it's just about the same length as the third wave. And trying to detect on the micro counts here that, one more move down for your 5th wave, right? That's what we're trying to anticipate here. This doesn't mean that we need a bounce from here. Eventually, we are expecting the lows to be taken. How will those lows be taken? We got a few levels. Naked point of control, 108.4. Daily level, 108.2. We got the lows. Maybe this fifth wave of the fifth wave can be an extension fifth wave, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is also an extension, and you actually SFP from these lows. The main reason why this becomes an attractive SFP from 107K is because where we are at in the stage of this downtrend of the last few days, it's actually pretty much the fifth wave of the fifth wave, possibly, right? When we do take a look at the analysis, nothing is certain here, of course, guys, but this is what would be the projection. And eventually, after a significant leg down in an impulse, what we would be expecting is some kind of a relief rally of some stage, right, throughout the next coming days. Some kind of a relief, some kind of a bounce, right? Which we would be anticipating that it's likely to be corrective, right? Likely to be corrective based on the general idea that we've had in the last few weeks that, you know, we actually break down below 107K. And all of this is only your first leg down, unfortunately, right? The market moves in waves, right? As we do say always, 3 waves or 5 waves. And for the moment, this would be your first initial big move down. Okay, so eventually, if you do bounce here and you overlap, it's very choppy, very poor price action. Then, you know, we're looking for one more leg down later on here, right? So we're just gonna have to check the price action eventually throughout the next coming days. But understanding this, guys, understanding where we at on the impulse, we do realize that a bounce here, taking out the lows or not, has the highest probability, okay, instead of nuking down from 107K. Because if you nuke down, what you need to build up here, based on the different scenarios, is a multiple 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And that has lower probability for the moment because 1, 2s do not usually, you know, develop like this. They usually get in, you know, a kind of a contracting diagonal, right? Where the second and third 1, 2s are getting smaller and then you move down. So that's why that currently holds the lowest probability. And we are not looking for a successful breakdown from 107K here still. And we are looking for some kind of a relief rally that we are anticipating it's likely going to be corrective, but we need that information and the analysis to really point out to see if it is going to be corrective or not, right? Because I don't know, maybe I think we do have low probability right now on the other scenario. I mean, yeah, we were talking about the possibility here of this being a zigzag and this being a flat. Very expanding flat for sure. Getting well beyond the 2.618 extension, 3.618. Yeah, this would be very, very rare. Very, very rare. So yeah, guys, unfortunately, what has the highest probability at the moment, unfortunately, guys, what has the highest probability for the moment is losing 107K. Losing 107K, bounce, whatever bounce that happens here, highly likely that it could be corrective, but we will be checking the price action here in the next coming days. But it's likely going to be choppy, it's going to be messy, and it's just going to fail eventually at some point, and, you know, just lose the uptrend momentum if it does create one. It's very, very likely going to fail and get the next, you know, scary, spooky move down. This is what has the highest probability based on the information that we have on this move down. It looks very impulsive. So yeah, what can we say? What are the major levels of support? Well, the most important levels are the naked point of control, the daily level at 108.2, 108.4 has there is this, it's literally this range point of control, right? This is where we have that high volume node from this zone, and the lows for an SFP is always an option. If you lose these levels, I think this SFP could be a good option, just because at what stage we are right now of this movement down, it would be an expanding fifth wave, which is okay. It would be okay. So it could be very interesting to get into a sniper SFP at the lows at 107k. So it is an option. And the main reason, you know, not always a low or a high is a good SFP level. Not always. But where we currently at in this stage of the movement down, it's kind of attractive. It's kind of attractive because, you know, it could be a fifth wave extension here, and you just wick to claim that, you know, that liquidity that we have eventually here, and then get the relief rally. So it does become an interesting option. If it nukes down, we do not react from this level, and we do not react from the lows. Yeah, the people that are putting limit longs, good luck. Good luck to that. We are reactionary traders. We trade based on reaction at the levels. You lose the level, we do not long. One thing that I am good at is risk management. Technical analysis, I'm not that great, guys. But risk management, I would love to see a competition of risk management against me, because I am very conservative, I'm very good, and that eventually what brings me a good, reliable track record. This was the long position from Bitcoin a few days ago, and the extra profits of short from Ethereum, which, you know, did maintain still a percentage on that movement to the downside. So just chilling out. I'm here to make money. I'm not here to get into every single trade. Let's go right away through the comment section and say hello to the beautiful community, and let's see if we can take a look at Ethereum. Major levels of resistance on Bitcoin, just for anybody that is interested. The most important level, we did have a naked point of control here. I'm not sure why I deleted it. 115.8k. This is the most important level, just because it's a big range. It's like a weekly naked point of control at 115.8. And we do have another daily naked point of control here at 111.5k, where we have a 4-hourly order block, if you wish. Yeah, 4-hourly order block right there, which can be a resistance support flip. Naked point of control here as well. Not really a level that I would be extremely interested in shorting, if I'm honest. I would only be interested in this short if we do get a bounce, correction, bounce, correction, bounce. And if we form a bit of a 5 waver here, then I'll maybe, you know, a little scalp short here, potentially to claim the lows. Would be interesting, but not that interested in this 111.5k. Maybe for a quick little scalp down to the VWAP, or down to, you know, for all of those scalpers, the ones that want to get excited in little scalping, well, that is a major level eventually that could get the resistance. Anyway, locally right now, high probability that we do claim the lows, okay? Just because there's nothing bullish about this price action. And just because on most of the exchanges, I think we have not taken out this low. And there's high probability that at some point we do take out these lows, legends, okay? An SFP of the dead cat bounce highs, I would say it's kind of acceptable if we are still. I would have to label this, guys, because the overall speculation that we have currently that has the highest probability is this movement to the downside right over here. which is, it doesn't really matter here, your wave 1, this is a flat, running flat, or this is your wave 1, this is your wave 2. Doesn't really matter where you put this. This is your wave 2 before the next move down. And your wave 4 does reject between the 236 and the 50% Fibonacci. This becomes your rejection zone for your wave 4. Your invalidation is the golden pocket, and to then create one more low, right? What we're speculating here on potentially creating that one more low here before any bounce that has the potential of getting below 107.2k, the lows that were formed on the 1st of September. There is a chance for that. So this is the thing about fifth waves. Fifth waves can double bottom the third wave. They can be an extension. They can extend even more than your third wave. You know, fifth waves can be very, very hard to detect when it can actually finish. And this is why you need the levels on the chart to rely on, right? This level, we get a reaction, move down, move up. It's a possible quick trade to enter, because that might be the level that actually gets the reaction. If you lose the level, you do not want to build up a swing long. You just don't want to, because you do not know how far this can go. So getting beneath the, you know, the lows here at 107.2k, right, which is the lows from the 1st of September, maybe that could be the SFP level, right? Maybe that could be the reactionary bounce zone. Anyway, let's go right away through comment section. Now, yes, guys, levels have been mentioned, possibilities, scenarios. I remain bullish on the higher time frame. I remain a little bit bullish for a bounce in the mid time frame next coming days, and I become bearish on the lower time frame to take out the lows, right? If you want a little bit of a you know, a little quick explanation on that. Let's go through the comment section now. Yes, guys, I want to cover Ethereum. I do want to cover Ethereum. All of the profits mainly have 99% of the profits from the Ethereum short that was taken exactly 4 weeks from today on the 24th, 25th. It is the 25th to 26th. Okay, just over a month. A short, an aggressive short here was taken. And holding that trade has been the best decision that I've had in September. Okay, still holding part of that short has been the best decision when we talk about, you know, the trades. Let's go through selling dried up on ICP for now. My ICP is underwater. I'm in a long position on ICP. I can't lie, guys, because it is there, but I mean, you can see the risk management that I'm taking here, right? If ICP decides to recover in the next coming weeks after, you know, going lower or not, then it's a big trade. It's a swing trade. It could last for months. The ICP that I bought on spot is eventually in a loss, but you know, I go in bigger positions on Bitcoin and Ethereum. This Bitcoin position was a bad entry. It was smaller than I wanted it. Okay, but still profits are profits. And yeah, the ICP is a very, very small position for the moment till we see a sign of strength, or we see, you know, some different information that I am obviously providing to the VIP and the pro community. I need to I share. I'm transparent about it. I share what's going on, guys. I know a lot of people want more. A lot of people are very, very, very hungry, guys. And if you come very hungry to this market and very greedy, you're going to get hurt very, very quick. Very, very quick, guys. Let's go through. I took a short scalp. TP1 already in the pocket, says Dean. Absolute legend. You guys need to scalp your way through to a millionaire, right? You need to. I do know that, guys. You know, I was a very aggressive scalper back in the day. Lost, winning, losing, winning, losing, winning, losing. It's very, very hard to have sustainable good gains as a scalper. It's obviously possible. I was, you know, successfully scalping profits for the last few years. Once you make your money, you diversify your income, your businesses, and swing trading becomes the swing trading becomes the better option. You know, you only need 2-3 trades a month to make, you know, very good gains. It's just really, it really is. Anyway, ICP lower the better. ICP the lower the better? Is that to buy cheaper or what? ICP the lower the better. Ooh, Drumhill. Maybe, yeah, to buy lower, I would assume, or just because you hate ICP. 106.7 most liquidity. Yeah, let's talk about the liquidity heat map. Of course, we do have quite a bit of liquidity to the downside. What is interesting is we are building liquidity to the upside. That's good. That's good eventually. We do have that liquidity. We might just, this is why an SFP from 107K drop down a few more $100 and then get the bounce is without a doubt an option here, legends. It is an option. It is an option purely based on liquidity and purely based on where we at, the current stage of the downtrend, where we at, guys. You know, it really does look like that we're just squeezing here that fifth wave. Multiple 1-2 is unlikely. You will see on the chart, you know, it is rare, you know, from this stage to get a nuke down, but the sentiment is so bearish, guys. I think people are very much aware that we are going to take out those lows, okay? At some point. I mean, it has the highest probability. You know, let's talk about the other scenario here, legends, which is the bullish one. This would be a miracle if I'm honest with you, which would be this WXY, which we definitely well overextended. Considering, I need to draw it again. To consider this in the much larger WXY, which would be this one. Eventually, let's just turn this yellow and put this as minor. This has low probability at the moment, in my opinion, just because the C wave here, if we're considering this a flat, this is a zigzag up in W, a flat in your wave X. Holy smokes, this has well overextended the 1.618, and it just would be, oh man, it would be a miracle if we moved out here after creating the latest low to the upside. And yeah, we have gone down well past the golden pocket, which is rare for a double zigzag. So it would be more of a sideways WXY. You know, I think we would not reach $118,000. One of the options here is you form a zigzag up, a flat, an expanding flat here, which is low probability. And what could happen here is, you know, after the low is in, whenever that happens, we could be looking for either a flat where you just do this, this, and this. It can be a very confusing price action. And then you nuke down. Yeah, I mean, it is definitely an option. Or you can form a triangle where you get the rally. You get the rally. Boom. Higher low, lower high, higher low. It could be an option. And then obviously what you're looking for is the Y here. And this would bring a much heavier A, B, and C, right? It could bring a very heavy three-wave structure down. We will check this throughout the next coming days, but eventually where your opportunity lies here in this scenario is the triangle or the flat. We need to check that that price action in the coming days. Okay. And on every single movement, I only detected successfully a few days ago a long trade, which was this one. That's where I made over $20,000 on that trade. I mean, it doesn't matter, guys. I don't need to tell you the gains that I made. Sorry about that. But this is the only successful trade that I got into. This bounce right over here, bouncing up point of control. It was a quick sniper. I actually got in on my phone with this while I was at boxing. So, yeah. Very, very snipery trade setup. You just had a few seconds to get the best entry, and even a couple of minutes to get that rally. And your target was sweeping up the highs. It was the only good trade that I did see. Yesterday, I did see a possible bounce at the daily, but we crossed the level. And if you cross the level, you don't want to put limit levels and hope for the best. We do not do that. We do not do that. Anyway, let's go through the comment section. Ethereum, we can go through Ethereum. I'm not sure. I think a lot of people would be interested in Ethereum. S&P 500 opened with a pump. Absolutely. Yeah, that's great. S&P 500, NASDAQ. Let's take a look at them, guys. NASDAQ nice also. Got a bit of a dump and pump here. Let's go, NASDAQ. We got a pump on the news. Okay, personal income, personal spending. A little bit higher than expected. That's good. Okay. People are spending or what? Economy is doing just okay. And we got a little bit of a good reaction right there on that, but it came straight back down. And then we are opening right now the market with some pumpy action momentum. So yeah, that's creating this little pump on Bitcoin. Also, stock market moving up. Bitcoin moving up in the range. Okay, if we are going to be still in this wave 4, legends, where the price needs to reject is in between the 382 from this pivot high to the pivot low. SFP of these highs is an option. It is an option. I would be paying attention here to the 50% and the lower high that we got here. That's a classic liquidity grab, guys. You could arguably discuss this is what happened a few days ago, where you are in a range, right? Bum, bum, bum. Sweep up the highs of the very aggressive drop, and then you roll over back to the lows, right? This price action is literally this right over here, but on a higher time frame, right? Big move down, consolidation, chop, chop, chop. Claim the highs of the range, back down. Movement down, chop, chop, chop. Claim the highs, move back down. It is a possibility. You need the rejection to speculate that that could be an option. Take profit at the lows, stop loss at the highs, entry in the rejection. Entry in the rejection. That's your setup here. If that's going to play out, right? Maybe, guys, we do have a, based on Elliot Wave theory, there is a good reason to believe that, this is still a wave 4. The lows are likely going to be claimed. So sweeping up the highs here gives you a good option for stop loss, entry, take profit, right? It is actually a very valid idea here. And if you think about it, when we do take a look at the bars pattern from this range, can we actually mirror? Whoops. What's this? I put the anchored VWAP here. I was looking for the bars pattern of this range. Can, when we do get this entire range, can we lower here the price action and try and, fit it with this current move? You get the point, right? Sweep up the highs of the range and then come back down to the lows. It does look like it, guys. I know some of you people are watching that. I know some of you are watching that cheeky lower high right there to see if we can claim that liquidity and form an SFP. I know you guys. Some of you are watching that. I very much know that, guys. Let's go through the comment section. Let's get that like button destroyed. It's 500 likes. We are going to do a giveaway of $500. If we get to 1,000 likes, we're doing $1,000 giveaway. How about that? Yeah, right now with the kind of views that I'm getting on the channel, that is not going to happen. 193 likes? No way. Oh my goodness. No, guys, come on. What the heck is going on? I'm going to go through the comment section right away. Come on, legends. Let's get that like button destroyed. Let's see if I come back, we get 250 at least. Okay, I'm going to be 5 seconds. Let's see. Holy smokes. No. No, la puta madre. Basta. Hola. Nada. All right. Let's go through the comment section and say hello to the beautiful community. Let's get some altcoins rolling here, guys. I'm interested in long positions on Ethereum, but I'm not in the long. I could definitely get into a small long right now and have enough capital here to add to the position. But I don't want to teach that here on YouTube. I don't want to teach that way of trading. I mean, I have enough capital here to get into a, I don't know, a decent amount of trade, a big trade, and cross margin, 4x, 5x leverage, and just add all the way down, right? But it's just not the way that I want to teach here, because that's the way that a lot of people will use a lot, and they will run out of dry powder. And I don't want to teach that way of trading here. Anyway, let's go through the comment section. Now, yes, guys, thank you very much for smashing up the like button. If we get to 500 likes, we're doing a giveaway, okay? To someone in the comment section. Stop the show, Andy. This ain't this ain't true. Hate to time you out for 5 minutes. Okay. Oh, somebody's Staffer one is timing out somebody here. Maybe somebody's not being good. Not being good. Anyway, guys, shall we do Andy High Roller? Asta update. Ooh, Asta. We talked about Asta yesterday, guys. And I think we just barely scratched. Barely scratched. Okay, Asta US dollar on spot. It is getting an okay bounce here. Hang on a second. Yeah, Asta. The fact that we formed these highs right over here, I think that it's going to be taken. Asta, another all-time high for Asta is very, very likely. And if we do take a look at Fibonacci, I think we just almost scratched the golden pocket. Oof. I think we just tapped the golden pocket here, which is technically not the greatest. Not the greatest. Yesterday we were talking about Asta on the possibility here of forming a 1, 2, and the third wave is still here, and the fourth wave hasn't formed. But the fact that we hit the golden pocket is not that nice. We actually just gently tapped it, which is no bueno. It's not really what the preferred scenario. I would expect a bounce here on Asta anyway, regardless. It is like rounding off. But yeah, preferably I didn't want the golden pocket to be tapped. I'm not sure if it did technically tap. Maybe on some exchanges it didn't. But yeah, the fact that we created these highs, guys, I think this is not a good high to be this is not a good high, okay? A high, you want it to be kind of a blow off top, right? You want a boom, boom, bang, right? And then reject. You want a big wick up and then down. You don't want to consolidate, form lower highs at the 0.88 Fibonacci. Everything points out that a recovery here on Asta to take out all-time high is highly likely in the next coming weeks, okay? So, yeah, you take that with a pinch of salt eventually. Let's go through the comment section and Not if you take profit. Laddering in, increasing margin, you can turn 1K position into a huge trade. Absolutely, Mike. Yeah, this is, you know, it is true. It is true. What's the Legends Pro community? The Legends Pro community is where myself, 𝗬𝗆𝘆𝗽𝗍, the rest of the coaches do share daily updates. We've got news, analysis, research. You got crypto chat, okay? You do have crypto chat right over here. You do have altcoin analysis from Dylan mostly, possible setup scenarios, Bitcoin analysis mainly from myself and 𝗬𝗆𝘆𝗽, research, okay, news that we have on, you know, what's happening worldwide, news, cryptos, you know, this is what you get, okay, education, possible setups, and that's what you get here in the Legends Pro community. If you are interested in knowing about the Legends Pro community, I mean, you do have the direct link here to the website, Legends Pro community, and it's just a good community where we share knowledge. Some people share charts as well, of course, you know, interacting, looking for opportunities. I share my analysis, 𝗬𝗆𝗆𝗽 does as well. We got Dylan as well, who is the altcoin coach, and yeah, we just basically share, you know, different scenarios that could happen on the price of Bitcoin. That's what the Legends Pro community is. It's just a good trading community. All right. We share information, setups, analysis every single day. Okay. Let's go. Cardano, maybe. Whew, Cardano. My man. I haven't checked Cardano. This is interesting. The total crypto market cap, guys. We are poised, oh my God, for the biggest collapse ever, guys. The biggest collapse ever in crypto. It's a matter of time that this does happen, guys. I want to believe that we do have another leg to the upside. Total 1 and Total 3, from the beginning stages, we literally have an ascending contracting diagonal, which this tells me one thing. When this corrects, then it's gonna fly in the next decade. Crypto is the future without a doubt. Blockchain technology, you know, all of these different, you know, decentralized finance products, AI, you know, mixed with blockchain and crypto. It's the future with no doubt. But we have a little bit of an extended stock market, a little bit of a, you know, shaky economy, and I think there will be a reset at some point in the coming years. Nobody can predict exactly when that reset is going to happen. But yeah, without a doubt, you know, we are hoping that we do get one, you know, a bit of a stronger push to the upside here. But technically, this would be valid to top out because we've claimed the highs of 2021, guys. It's, you know, we do have the 5 peaks already. We do have them. We are hoping that it's going to extend a little bit more in the next coming months by a couple of $1 trillion, hopefully. Maybe the money flow, we're going to follow it, right? Man, that money flow, M2, holy smokes. I was actually pretty tired of listening to the M2 global money supply. It decoupled, guys. It decoupled, right? We're not following it anymore. Holy smokes. Yeah, sometimes there was a lot of hype on the M2, right? Bitcoin's followed the M2 and it's going to follow it. And you can see the M2 going like this and the price of Bitcoin just flattening out, right? And the total market cap of crypto. And it's like, what's going on here? Why aren't we following the M2? So anyway, we are at that stage, guys. I haven't taken enough profits of my spot bags on Bitcoin. I am still confident that we do get another all-time high. I don't care. If not, we ride a bear market, guys, down to 60, 50K. It doesn't matter. It does not matter, guys. If we're going to ride it again, we'll ride it again. But I'm still confident that we do get another new all-time high before the end of the year, guys. Okay? That's my opinion. I am willing to put the reputation there. And yeah, hopefully we can trade our way into the bear market and still make epic gains trading. That's what I do anyway. So let's see. It doesn't really matter, guys. Bear market or not. I've only sold 10% of my Bitcoin. I would actually sell another extra, 10, 20, 30% as we do get to all-time high later on, guys. The fact that we believe always in, super cycle and that Bitcoin's going to be the monetary digital currency worldwide, digital gold, we need to take those profits, guys. I think that the market, the world is going to come into a heavy recession. You can never predict these things, but we need a reset, right? Funny enough, Bitcoin and crypto has never experienced a proper recession like the 2008 one. There was the C19 crash in 2020. Well, I mean, that was really a flash crash because we recovered so quick. Money printer went on, inflation went up. Nobody wanted to hold the dollar or any currency because they were losing value like crazy. And it was, a quick flash crash. I wouldn't even consider that the 2020 crash was a recession. But, like a proper heavy 6-12 month recession, we have not experienced that in crypto. And I do believe that eventually where the stock market is, which is absolutely flying, that we should get some kind of a recession, big stock market crash. 2026, 2027. I mean, it seems pretty dumb to try and predict a recession because it just happens when it happens. But yeah, the numbers are not looking that great. Thank you. Can you share your take on meme core? Meme core. Most meme coins will return to zero after the bull run is over. Yeah, I mean, Dogecoin. I think Dogecoin is eventually going to be a survivor. Dogecoin, the big ones, Pepe will survive. It will get into a heavy bear market, but it will survive for sure. M2 is the potential money. Yeah, exactly. It's not the real representation yet. Yes, a nuke is about right, Tom. Mario, Bitcoin doesn't follow M2 exactly. There is a lag of several weeks. Very true, Mario. Yeah, but the lag has happened now for several weeks. Sell your entire portfolio. Don't marry your bags, says Tom T. The thing is, I like to have Bitcoin in my portfolio. I have to say most of my net worth is Bitcoin. I do have some real estate. I do have some gold, not enough gold, but yeah, I think Bitcoin is kind of the most reliable thing long term. It always has been. It always has been for me anyway, since I started in crypto in 2018. Buying Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin in the long term and accumulating more has been the smartest decision yet, even though I did hold a lot of the Bitcoin in basically I didn't sell. I sold here 25% of my Bitcoin, bought a little bit here, did not sell here, rode all the way down, and since we crossed 30k, I started accumulating again very aggressively in this period throughout 2022 and part of 2023. So I guess it would still be in profit for sure. This was only a few years back, so it's been the smartest decision that I've made financially. If we do not sell the exact tippy top, right? I'm out 10% already. Based on the analysis, guys, highly likely we do claim all-time high again. Highly likely. So that is the moment that I will unload a little bit more for sure. Just because we do not know how powerful this projection is going to be. It might get to 130, it might get to 140. It's just a good time to start DCAing out. quite aggressively. So yeah, not much more has to be said here. And if you know, I can never sell all of my Bitcoin. I'll just have to have that cash. And if we do get that big bear market throughout 2026 that has the potential to take us to 70, 50K, right? We'll have to buy more, guys. We'll have to buy more. Long term, it's so strong. Long term, right? Long term, it doesn't fail. So that's a no, says Staffer1 here to someone. Solana will basically follow BTC. I'm not sure about that. I prefer to hold BTC to fiat. If it goes down 50%, that's okay. I'm in it for 20, 30 years. Absolutely. Absolutely. I do believe, you know, that's a good strategy without a doubt. Long-term strategy. That's why, I'm here to make gains trading as well, right? Trading is, you know, I got enough capital to do trading and, you know, live based on trading as well. So, you know, spot gold is there. You know, I think, wow, gold, go and sell your gold because gold has gone through the roof. I bought gold in 2019 at about 1,400 an ounce. I'm just telling a little bit of my story here, guys. Maybe not many people do want to hear about it, but I started buying gold in 2019. I remember exactly, in this region. You know, when we were breaking these highs, and I bought physical gold, not much, but you know, enough to diversify. And wow, you know, that was pretty good. It did it's done over a 2x, which is okay. Bitcoin's done over a 6-7x. Well, actually much more, sorry. It's done well over a 20x since 2019, basically. No, well, it depends really. 5K, 10K, yeah, around about that price region. But would I sell my gold, physical gold right now? Well, we know it's much better to hold some gold, hold some Bitcoin than actually having too much cash. Obviously, it's nice to have cash right now and take some profits based on how, you know, overshooting everything is. Anyway, I buy fake physical gold for my missus. Everyone is happy. Much love to everybody. Anyway, thank you very much for joining the stream, guys. It is Friday, chilling out here, smashing up the like button to 300 likes as we speak. Let me know any crypto. Ethereum, I want to explain a little bit. We are getting a little bit of a bounce here. We are getting a bit of a bouncy. Oh, let's see if we do. Taking out that dead cat bounce high, guys, would be ideal. Would be the ideal, and then get the rejection. It's either looking for a long at the naked point of control, or this lower high actually is interesting for a liquidity grab and an SFP. Either stop above the high or stop at the golden pocket. It's a day trade. I wouldn't go too crazy. I would prefer the SFP of this lower high. Projection can be a 2 or a 3-4 to 1 risk reward depending on your entry and your stop loss if you do catch the SFP. But it is a reliable trade for sure. If you do SFP, if you break through and you absolutely rock it, then you don't short, right? You don't short the pump. You short the rejection. Okay, so yeah, I mean that would be a plan here. And it's literally mirroring the possibility of big move down, range, sweep up the highs of the range to then roll back down, big move down, range, sweep up the highs, and then get back down to the lows. You know, it's a setup, right? Stop loss, entry, stop loss, entry, projection, the lows. So yeah, it's a setup. You just need to check how we react here. If you break through, c'est la vie, right? Let it go. Let it go. Don't short. If it breaks up eventually, you need the rejection, and you do not want to hit the golden pocket because that would invalidate the potential of a wave 4. So yeah, anyway, wanted to point that out. Ethereum. I'm explained the plan on Ethereum and on ICP to the Legends Pro and the VIP. Okay, I do have ICP. I do have a plan, and that plan is shared in the VIP or the Legends Pro, guys. Remember that you do have those awesome bonuses on the exchanges that I'm using currently. Weeks is one of them, 20% deposit bonus. Bluffin also has insane bonuses, 10% cash back on your deposit, all these different perks. If you do a minimum deposit, you have access to the VIP where I share where I'm looking for a trade. It's nothing to do with the Legends Pro. Legends Pro is a community. There's more education, there's more content, there's more setups, there's more scenarios. But the VIP is where I share my bigger trades mainly, okay, that I'm looking for. And you do get access to that as soon as you sign up throughout Bluffin weeks. One of the links down below, which you are going to get the best bonuses available. And you can send me a DM to the Telegram, which is the first link, and get you access to the VIP where I'm sharing eventually those trading setups. Legends, it is Friday. Please do 𝗬𝗍𝗍. Perhaps Bitcoin is bouncing because the RTY is bouncing. Maybe, possibly. Hey, Andy, thoughts on MSTR here going into the last potential part of the bull run? MSTR is MicroStrategy, if I'm not mistaken, as the ticker symbol. MSTR. What is MSTR? It's not a crypto, is it? MicroStrategy stock, MSTR. Yeah. Let me just check that quickly. I was putting MSTR US dollar. Just used to putting US dollar at the end. I mean, my thoughts on this. Yeah, holy smokes. This stock eventually has done well purely based on its Bitcoin treasury, right? Everybody knows that. MicroStrategy as a product, as a business, I think it's, as a software company, I don't think it's that big for the stock to do this. I'm not sure if not sure if many people do use their software. Obviously they would, it's a big company, but for this massive hype, this is going to follow Bitcoin. It's literally going to follow Bitcoin, guys. It has followed Bitcoin. It follows stock as well, but it does heavily follow Bitcoin. And whatever Bitcoin does and what Bitcoin could do, then that's what we're looking for on MicroStrategy. Okay, I would say that as Bitcoin does have a higher chance to reach all-time high on the higher time frame, I would expect MicroStrategy also to hit all-time high. The biggest move happened here throughout 2024. We could definitely speculate that it has one more push to the upside, okay, throughout the end of the year. Maybe sweep up the lows. I mean, depending on what Bitcoin does. But we're looking for another new all-time high on Bitcoin. Maybe MicroStrategy can stretch its legs one more time, but this is very overextended, right? You are looking, once you form the biggest wave in a bull run, it's your moment to start thinking of taking profits, start thinking of getting out. When you have a bear market, you have your first recovery stage, you have the third wave up, possibly we do have the fourth wave here being developed, and we could be creating one more high, but you really want to start thinking to get out. Once Bitcoin hits all-time high, depending on where this is, I would consider taking, big profits on that. Anyway, legends, it's Friday. Thank you very much for joining the stream and smashing up the like button. We did not get to 500 likes again on the stream. I'm giving money out, guys. I think I probably have to do $1,000 for 500 likes. What do you think about that? We'll do that on the next stream. I'm gonna have to pay for the like button, guys, to be hit, which is okay, guys. But anyway, if we need to, I need to pay you for, you need to pay for everything in life right now, even for likes. It doesn't really matter, but it's just to give a little bit of give something back to the community. Thank you very much for joining, guys. The projections, crazy work. Projections for Bitcoin. There's some internal little scalping setups. Okay, just wait for the levels. Just wait for the levels. You break up successfully from here, up we go. You don't break, it gives you the potential short to claim the lows. If you come down, I'm looking at the naked point of control, the daily level. I'm looking at this 107. We could be very much projecting the fifth wave here. Fifth wave can be very impulsive. It can be very shallow. We don't know. We got a few levels. We need to watch the levels on the reaction to take the trading decision. Thank you very much, legends, for joining today's live stream. Have a fantastic weekend. Thank you for smashing the like. Hope everybody has a great weekend, guys. From the bottom of my heart, stay safe, stay healthy, spend time with friends and family, enjoy life, enjoy trading, be responsible. Much love to every single one of you. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you in the next one.